This year, Consumer Reports is hosting our annual meeting at our Connecticut test track. We'll have demonstrations of our testing, and we'll film a Talking Cars about autonomous technology in front of a live audience. Want to join us? Send a short email to talkingcars@consumer.org and tell us why you'd like to come and what question you'd want to ask the Talking Cars panel. We'll select a limited number of people who can attend the meeting in late October. Of course, while we'd love to pay your way, we're a nonprofit, so you'll have to cover the costs of your travel. Hope to see you there.
On this episode, we talk about the all-new Honda Accord. We give you the inside scoop on some hot October new car deals, and we tell you how not to be taken advantage of at the dealership. Next on Talking Cars. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the show. I'm Mike Monticello.
I'm Ryan Pizlakowski.
And I'm Jake Fisher.
And today we're going to start off the episode talking about the 2018 Honda Accord. The Accord has been a popular car for decades, one of those go-to mid-sized family sedans.
Yep.
But this time around with this redesign, I mean, they made wholesale changes. We're talking all new styling, all new drivetrains. Mm-hmm. So some really big changes. So we rented an early one from Honda and to get kind of an early impressions of the car. So, the first thing you see in a car is its styling. So you're kind of a stylish young buck, Ryan. Why don't we start with you? What do you think of the way this new Honda Accord looks?
Well, I think it's ugly.
Whoa. Just come right out and say
it. I don't hate it, but I don't like it. I don't care for the nose is big and chunky. And
it's kind of snub nose.
Yeah, and it's got that, that fastback kind of a A7 thing going on.
Yeah.
And I like it on the A7, but it seems like they put two cars together in this thing.
So it just doesn't seem like continuity is lacking?
Exactly. For me, it's just...
Yeah, I find that like chrome bar across the front is kind of a little
I can look at it from one angle, and I'm like, okay. And then I see another angle, I'm like, what is that? It almost looks like the Cross Tour.
Oh, don't say Cross Tour.
You know what I mean? I said it. I don't know.
Now you're being offensive.
Yeah. I'm sorry, guys.
But I actually kind of like the rear styling. I kind of like, when you look at it, they clearly were trying to have it look like an Audi A7, which actually is a hatchback. They were trying to make it look like a hatchback, I think. But this one has a real trunk. And the trunk is actually even a little bit bigger than before, according to Honda. Where are you with this styling, Jake?
Well, I think when it comes to the styling, I think you're both wrong.
I'm shocked that he doesn't agree with us.
And the issue is that, I don't know. We're Consumer Reports. I'm not sure if everyone's looking at Consumer Reports to think about what we think about the styling. And that really doesn't matter. The thing about the styling is not necessarily whether or not it looks good or it looks bad. It just looks different. And I think that's where they made a win here, because there's so many mid-sized sedans that they're cookie cutter, right? They all look the same. They get different badges. And this does stand out of the pack a little bit, which I think is a good thing. And if you could do that without screwing up something.
That's the key. They didn't compromise anything as far as we can tell. So again, limited time in the car.
Right.
But unlike the new Toyota Camry, which has gotten a little more low slung, is actually a little harder to get in and out of, a little less rear seat room. From what we've seen so far, there's very little, bad side to what they've done with the styling, other than that you don't like it. But, those people,
I'll get over
there's
it.
people that are going to like it, there's people that aren't going to like it. Like you said, it stands out.
It turns heads. I drove it. I drove it one afternoon, and people are looking at you because they see it's a new Honda, and it looks like an Accord. What is it? And it's different. There's no doubt.
Well, let's get into the good stuff. Let's talk about drivetrains. Turbos for everybody. You get a turbo. You get a turbo. I'm channeling my inner Oprah.
Nice.
So what they've gone to smaller engines with turbochargers, with the point of putting the turbochargers on to try and get about the same power as what they had with their old engines. Why would they do this, Jake?
There's a couple things going on. One is the smallest displacement turbos. They do have the potential of getting better fuel economy. And as we saw with the CRV that we tested with the 1.5 turbo, which is very similar to what we're seeing here in the mainstream engine in the Accord. It was very fuel efficient in the CRV. I expect we're going to see some really good numbers with the Accord too. But the other interesting part, it comes down to that packaging, not screwing up stuff. When you look at the Camry, they still get that big V6 in there.
Right.
By actually packaging this vehicle only for 4-cylinder engines, they could actually kind of maximize the interior volume of the car and keeping the outside smaller.
Right. Now, do you think they did this largely for fuel economy reasons or more for packaging? I mean, what's...
Well, I think the 1.5, I mean, what they've been able to accomplish with that 1.5 in terms of fuel economy, it makes sense. They've really taken it to the next step.
Right.
In terms of not having that V6, and they still make V6s, and we saw it in the Odyssey, and it's silky smooth, and it's got power. I think that becomes a packaging issue. Because really, there's not a lot of high volume in that the high performance engine, right?
Right. But that's the one that we rented from Honda was the bigger engine, the 2-liter turbocharged
turbo,
4-cylinder with let's see, I've got it written down here, 252 horsepower. Made it to a 10-speed automatic.
And let's be specific. I mean, that's the one that Honda goes and says, "Here, try out our new
Right,
Accord
right.
with
Yeah.
all
We
of
love
the
it.
options
We love
and the
it.
leather
Yeah,
and the
right.
sport."
It's the
blah, blah, blah.
it was the top of the line touring version.
Right.
But let's just as a drivetrain, you know, with this bigger turbo engine and the 10-speed automatic. I mean, that's new to the Accord. What did you think of that, Ryan?
I thought the engine was quite powerful. It was fun to drive. I mean, the transmission was, you know, 10, you tell me 10 gears, and I think like that's ridiculous. When am
Why
I getting
would
into
you
10?
need that?
Yeah.
Well, how many
When is
gears
this
do you
going to
have on
end?
your bike? I mean, come on.
I know. When's it going to end though? 10 gears. I mean, and I don't know if I ever got in 10th gear, but I'll tell you what, they did a good job in wherever I was in the middle, because it was a decisive, good shifts. It just made it well with the engine. And I mean, I think you mentioned the other day, this is a Honda built transmission.
That's right.
Yeah, and that's a big deal. And so I got into the car, and I was, ready to be underimpressed. And I didn't even know, the first time I got in it, I had talked to, Gabe about, and he's like, I don't want to tell you anything, just go drive the car. And so I went out there and I started driving it, and initially it's like chirping the tires off the line. And then as I'm driving, I'm thinking, well, this isn't a CVT. This is a real real automatic transmission with real shifts. That said, the shifts are nearly imperceptible. I mean, it's so far anyway, seems like a really good transmission. Do you miss the V6?
Well, I mean, I just want to hold on to the transmissions for a little bit. And we've all gone biking together, right? And it's like you go back to our parents' age, they had 3-speed bicycles and they had 3-speed automatic transmissions. And then there was 10 speeds, and we got 10-speed automatic transmissions now in cars. And now, I mean, the people I bike with, they're like, I want to switch to the 10-speed to the 11-speed.
They're up to 12 speeds on mountain bikes now, up to 1x12s.
And why do you do that? You get more efficiencies. You're able to have that really slow, high-speed gear. You got the climbing gear. And plus, in the middle, you've got that everything along the way. So, I mean, it is functional as long as you can make it reliable.
Right. I think the key, though, is it knows what gear to be in, too. When you have that many gears, it has to be intelligent to know what gear you should be in, so it's not constantly, changing its mind,
That's what you don't want.
Yeah,
you don't
that's
want
right.
it shifting.
That's
If it's
right.
shifting all the time, that's annoying.
So,
this
yeah.
one was doing a pretty good job.
I guess with
impressed.
time they iron those things out, and
And
they're
we've
getting
seen
better.
that before. Like even when when we first saw the first 6-speed automatics, there was a little confusion of what gear to be in. So it was impressive. At least the initial impressions driving us around, it seemed pretty decisive of what gear it wanted to be in.
Yeah. So let's talk about something else that is really big news for this Honda Accord, which is advanced safety systems. What they call Honda Sensing is their suite of advanced safety systems. And we're talking forward collision warning, automatic emergency braking, lane keeping assist, adaptive cruise control, all standard for the Honda Accord, no matter what trim you get. That's a big deal. And not only that, but they're standard even on the manual transmission models, which wasn't the case with the Honda Civic Si, which only comes as a manual. And the even the regular Civic, if you got the manual version, you couldn't get automatic emergency braking. That's all changed now.
So fundamentally, first of all, you do get manual transmissions with the Accord.
Yeah, that's news in and of itself.
Even with the 2-liter. And that 2-liter turbo, I mean, that's kind of related to the Civic Type R. So, I mean, this is a powerful engine that you could still get. And when it comes to manual transmissions, I mean, I would say there's 2 manufacturers that really get manual transmissions right. It's Honda and it's Mazda.
Right.
Yeah.
And they just transform the vehicles. I mean, just make it so much fun to drive. And it's great to have them, and there's no excuses.
Right.
So we've seen, like you said, some manufacturers, and Honda before said, oh, well, if you got a manual transmission, we can't figure out how to put FCW and AEB and all that stuff. And they've got it.
Right.
Every single version, doesn't matter which Accord you get, You get that.
We
That's huge.
addressed this question before. We had a question. We dealt
right.
with it on the air where the person said, you can't, they can't put automatic emergency braking in a car with a manual transmission. And the reality is they can.
And that's what we
if
said.
you don't,
Yeah.
if you don't push in the clutch,
Right.
it's just going to stall, which is still way better than crashing into
It's
another
stopping.
car.
It's
right?
stopping
Yeah.
at the end of the day. Yeah.
So so that's big news, and that's really good for Honda. Let's talk about something else on the interior of the car. I think seems like so far. I mean, that was the top end version, but nicer materials, a pretty nice design, comfortable seats. What did you think about the infotainment system?
I'm gonna interrupt you. I thought.
How
I'm
dare
gonna
you.
Go, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back. What I noticed when I drove that car, one of the big things I noticed is it's more substantial.
Yeah.
I felt like the Honda Accord used to be, well, any of the Hondas were a little tinny, maybe a little light feeling, which was a bad thing. They were fun to drive, but this thing is like, it's grown up in a sense. I don't know if we want to say that, but it feels substantial. It felt a little more European almost.
I thought it was quieter too. And again, you
Yeah,
and
it's
I were talking
quieter.
about it. Hondas haven't been known for being all that quiet usually, and this one really was pretty good.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right, and that's actually the most fundamental thing that you notice when you drive the car. It's not that kind of light and tinny.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that in a bad way.
Yeah,
'cause
no,
Hondas
yeah,
are not
right.
terrible.
Yeah.
But it's like, again, Mazda and Honda, they tend to make kind of that reputation for probably like lighter vehicles, less
Right.
sound deadening, noisier. And it's a little more Passat and a little bit less Mazda 6 at this point. It's quieter and rides better, but it still does feel very substantial and drives very nice. It does feel sporty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you be okay if we talk about the infotainment system?
We can
now?
go there now,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
I would like to actually say one other thing.
No, seriously. So all new infotainment system in the Honda Accord. It's actually very similar to the Honda Odyssey, the minivan.
Yep.
And on higher trim versions of the old Accord, it had this kind of odd, wonky dual screen setup, which we never really liked.
No.
And this one, where do we stand? Is it improvement, or what? What do we think?
I think it's gone from. I think it's a love it or hate it kind of system. I think before it was kind of a hate it or hate it system. It just wasn't good.
It's better than the last one. I will
It's
say
better
that.
than the last, but
Yeah.
it's like I don't know. What do you think?
I
mean,
thought it's certainly better than the two screens that weren't even like matched. They looked like they were from two different manufacturers.
Different.
They
different
were
graphics. And
exactly.
everything.
It didn't make sense.
Yeah.
This is one screen. It's pretty. It's a little busy. There's a lot going on. But I think with time you get used to it, and
there's a learning curve for
yeah,
sure.
there's always a learning
It has a
curve.
lot of functionality. I think it looks very nice. But I think some people are going to really like it.
Yeah.
Because it gives you a lot of customization. I think a lot of people who just want to get in the car and go and don't want to mess with it, they're not going to like it.
No.
So I think it's kind of your level of, are you an Android person or are you
Right.
still have your iPhone 5? I mean, that's kind of where it is.
Potentially distracting.
Potentially could be very distracting because there's a lot of stuff you could do, a lot of customization, a lot of moving things around. I think there's a good argument that for, it's nice to have very simple controls and I could do whatever I need to do and get to it quick. Again, kind of like the Apple iPhone, thing. You can't really customize the screen. It's that way.
Yeah.
And then this is very much Android. It's like, I can do all these
They
things.
seem like they want to wow you with,
There's a
with
lot
tech.
of wowing,
Yeah.
and it's not just with that, but it's also with the gauge cluster,
Right.
where I could,
Yeah.
the tachometer goes away and
Yeah,
turns
they've
into
got
something else.
digital
and-
on the left side and regular analog on the other side. We're going to buy our own 2018 Honda Accord as soon as they're available. They're going on sale in a few weeks. We're going to get a 1.5 liter with the CVT, the continuously variable transmission, because that's going to be the car that the drivetrain configuration most people
the
are going to
vast
buy.
majority of them
So
are that way.
we're going to get one as soon as we can and put it through our paces, and then we'll see how it stacks up against its competitors. And that kind of brings me to our next segment, which is when the 2018 start arriving at dealerships, there's a good chance you're going to be getting some really great deals on the 2017 Honda Accord. And, we're getting into October and November, and this is typically a good time. Come on in. This is typically a good time to get a good deal. Do you want to talk about why that is, Jake, and what's going on with this time of year?
Yeah, sure. Well, I mean, look, every year the 2018s, the next model years come out, and generally they're coming out before the actual change of the year, right? It's around this time that they're hitting the showroom. And what's going on is those, no matter what you're buying, they're trying to get rid of the old inventory, because when you're sitting there and you get the shiny new 2018 Accords,
It's hard to sell the other one. Yeah.
2017s, everyone wants to buy the shiny new one. And because those automakers don't really raise the price a whole lot. You know, if you've got a $24,000 18 Accord, a $24,000 17 Accord, what are people going to buy?
Right. Yeah.
So they take those 17s and they drop the price. And there's some amazing deals to be had. And there's a couple of reasons why you actually might want to get that older vehicle. And a lot has to do with reliability, not just getting that good deal, but we see over and over and over again when they introduce that redesigned model, that's when you have the most amount of problems because they're kind of working out the details, working out the bugs. Whereas that outgoing model, that 17 Accord, it's been around for so long.
It's
they've worked
ironed
it out.
That's typically the most reliable. The last year is typically the most reliable you're going to have. Now, our analyst Mel did a little research for us, just quick search to see, you know, what some good deals were going on out there, and he looked, you know, so they just a little while ago came out with the 2018 Toyota Camry, and so he looked around for some 2017 Toyota Camrys. And this is something you're going to want to jump on pretty quick if you want a Camry because they won't last forever. But he found some that were as much as $5,500 off their MSRP. You know, and that's a brand new 2017 Camry LE. Wow. He found one that was $5,500, another one was $5,300. You know, with dealer discounts, factory cash, all that kind of stuff.
So you're talking like 17 grand, 18
we're
grand.
We're talking 18.6 for one, and and 19,000 for the other.
And if you don't have to have the latest and greatest, I mean that's a deal. That's ridiculous.
And it's probably going to last.
Reliable car, going to last forever.
Yeah.
And you know, and with these things, it's you know, it's not like we're not trying to send you out to a local dealer here, but it's like you could go on the sites and there's local inventory that you could. Virtually all the automakers do this. You check out the inventory and you could search those local inventory. You might have 3 Toyota dealerships around you or 3 Volkswagen dealers around you, and you could find and see if they have any of those 17s left over. And they're going to wheel and deal on that car.
And, you know, BMW's coming out with a new X3 pretty soon, so there's 2017s that they're making deals on. He found an X3 xDrive 28i that was $6,000 off the MSRP right now. I mean, that's a smoking deal.
Yeah.
How about trucks? Everyone likes trucks, right?
Oh, yeah.
I like trucks.
John Linkoff likes trucks. So Mel found a 2017 Ford F-150 EcoBoost with a 2.7-liter V6 four-wheel drive. Now, they're coming out with a 2018 that's a little different, right? It's got...
well, they've gone from a 6-speed to a 10-speed
10-speed
automatic.
again,
10-speed automatic.
Talking about 10 speeds automatic. So they
a little different front-end styling.
Yeah.
So you can get a 2017, if you don't care about that, tried and true 2017 with... it was a $45,000 truck. It's on sale for $35,000. So you're saving $10,000 off this truck. And it's even better if you want a Chevy Silverado. Apparently, there's a lot of them hanging out on the dealer lots right now, the 1500s. And he found one that was low as much as $13,000 off the MSRP. I mean, that's just a killer deal.
So last year we bought 2 Silverados for tire testing, and we were going to buy used ones to save some money. We wanted low mileage. We could get a used one for the same price. A used one with maybe 10,000 miles on it for the same price as we could get a leftover brand new one.
Yeah.
Wow.
Brand new. I think we saved like $9,000 on both of them.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Each. I mean, it was unbelievable.
Wow.
Well, so that kind of brings us to another segment, which is, so we've told you there's some great deals out there, but what about, you know, how do you deal with the dealer, you know?
Right.
And so we actually had a viewer question about that. And this person says, my brother's about to buy his first minivan. How do you get the best deals at the dealer and not be cheated? And, you know, we buy, 50, 60 cars a year. And what we do here is we buy them anonymously because we don't want any manufacturer bias. We don't want them to tweak the cars at all. We just want to be like a normal person and go in and buy the car. Right. But
we desperately want to be like normal people.
Right,
but
we do. And it's never going to happen.
No.
So one thing that people may not know is you can basically do just about everything remotely. You don't have to spend much time at the dealer at all. If you need to drive the car, which, you know, if you know you want a car, you could do it all remotely. But if, you know, we really still recommend going to the dealer and taking some test drives. So we have kind of like a list of 3 suggestions. And we talked about this a little bit before. But the first one is you were saying something like, you know, if you're going to go to the dealership and do some test drives to figure out which car you actually want to buy, you want to make sure that there's no way you're going to get locked into possibly buying a car, right? So your suggestion was Bring nothing more than your driver's license? Isn't that what you said the other
I think
day?
this was actually Dave's suggestion.
Okay, blame it on producer Dave.
The man behind the camera. But yeah, we talked about was you want to separate the purchasing and the shopping. And because the purchasing and figure out all that stuff you can do remotely. You could do over the phone. You could look at the online inventory. But unlike us, we go and we're like, we're going to buy an 18 Accord. You may not know if you're going to buy an 18 Accord.
Right.
You want to drive the car. And I get that.
Right.
But to get to that point, make it clear when you walk into a dealership, you're not here to make a deal. You're here to just evaluate and look at the car. But the problem is once you do that, they're going to be on your case. I mean, they're going to be like, wait, just today we're going to make a special deal. And just promise yourself and promise them. And Dave actually has really good suggestions. Walk in there, have your license. Do not bring
no credit card,
don't
no
bring your credit
checkbook,
card, no checkbook,
and
no nothing.
That way you can't even possibly put a down payment down on a car.
Right.
There's nothing they can do.
Right.
And so that's one suggestion. Once you've done your test drives, if you need to, which you really should, now you're to the point where you can do it all remotely. You can do it via email. You can do it. You can call a person. You can text the guy or girl, however you want to do it, and you can do you can choose your color. You can choose your trim. You can choose what option packages you want, and you can be all set to go with all this stuff. And once you contact, then look at dealer inventory, figure out which dealers you want to deal with, and then just start emailing those dealers. And now you can even do your haggling, via email or whatever. You can do it all like that.
And one of the beauty of this is that, nobody wants their time wasted. Right. You don't want the dealer to waste your time. You don't want to waste the dealer's time. And when you're making a deal online like that, or you're talking to someone on the phone, they've invested 5 minutes in you.
The salesman you're
the
talking about.
salesperson,
Yeah,
exactly. So, if you go there and you're spending, 6 hours with them talking about lease deals and figuring out all these things, it's like, okay, they've invested 6 hours and they want to make a decent amount of money off of you.
And sometimes, I don't know about you, I sometimes feel a little guilty. I'm like, oh crap, I've been here so long, I kind of got to do something for this guy. You know what I mean? I feel guilty. I don't know.
And they want your blood. They want you to sign the papers that day.
And they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
They know how to make you feel that way so that you should buy this car.
My number one goal is to go to the dealer once to pick it up.
Right.
That's it.
Just the day of.
That's it.
The day of.
Then
That's
you've
it.
won,
Yeah.
and the dealer's won too.
Right.
I'll give you one tip, and this is what I normally do when I actually get on the phone and make a deal, is this. First of all, get a pretty good idea of what the price is, because you can find that stuff out. We have online tools at Consumer Reports, and you can see what the dealer is paying for the car. But here's the deal: you're buying a Honda or whatever. You got 3 Honda dealers that you go to. You call them up, you talk about the car, and you say, okay, what's the best price you can give me on this car? I have something in my mind. If it's not a good deal, I'm not gonna counter offer. I'm gonna get on the phone. I'm gonna call another dealer.
Yeah.
So this is like your one choice. I'm gonna call up other dealers. You're gonna get a really good price.
You're going to because you're on the phone and you can easily hang up that phone.
Right.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
You can hang up the phone.
He can't hold you hostage there.
He can't go back and forth. And once you've hung up the phone, it's done. And he is also, how much time is he invested?
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like if he can make $150, done.
Right.
That's a good tip. So before we go, we want to tell you about something new we're trying. We want to hear from you. Tell us about tips you have about how to not be taken at a dealership. So make a 30-second or less video. Go to cr.org/talkingcars, upload it there, and maybe we'll use that on a future show. That's going to do it for this episode. If you want to learn more about the cars we talked about in this show, click on the links in the show notes below. And as always, thanks for watching. And next time, there'll be a prettier host, probably John Linkove or Jen Stockberger. See ya.